All right, let's do some 30-second hair hacks. First up, the hairspray trick. Let's say that you just did your hair and you have a couple flyaways up here that are sticking up like you just put your hand in a socket. No big deal, right? We can just use our hands to pat them down real quick and easy. Wrong. The last thing you ever want to do is use your fingers to push them down because your fingers usually have oil. It's not what you want on your roots. Your next thought might be, I can flat iron this guy to make him go down. Definitely not. You're gonna use that flat iron and go over and over and over until it snaps off. Never flat iron a single hair. So what we're gonna do instead is the hairspray trick. The idea here is that we're going to use hairspray to get the flyaways to stick to the hair that's already laying down so it finally behaves for once. We're gonna do that with just a little bit of hairspray and it looks like this. You're gonna cover up one side of your part and spray the hairspray in the direction that you want the flyaway to lay. And then after spraying, you are not going to use your hand. We said why earlier, plus on top of that, your hands also have a static charge to them that can make your hairs stick up. It's not what we're going for here. So instead of our hands, we're gonna use this metal hairspray can. Just run it over the hair that you just hairsprayed, and all those flyaways will lay down for you because it's sticking to the other flat hairs now. You're gonna do the same thing on the other side, cover the other side just like you did the first, and spray in the direction that you want the flyaways to go down. Metal hairspray can goes in, bends them down, and sticks it to the other hairs. Now, there are some products made for stuff like this. There's sticks, there's these little lash type things. The sticks are way too heavy and way down your hair. Hairspray does the best for me, especially since you probably already have it laying around and don't need to go out and buy it. Reduce breakage from detangling. I thought these were 30-second hacks. You can't detangle in 30 seconds. Yes you can. Let me just show you how. All right, so the rougher you are with your hair when you're detangling it, the more breakage you're gonna get. You don't wanna be Jack the Ripper with all this hair on the floor like a crime was just committed. An easy way to be more gentle when you're detangling is to start from the bottom. I know you're tempted to go straight in there at the top and get in there and get all those tangles and get down to business because you're in a hurry, but that's actually the slowest way to detangle and it's a lot tougher on your hair. You wanna start detangling from the bottom because the tangle is only ever gonna be out of your hair once you brush it through the ends. That means taking a tangle from up here and just bringing it down a couple inches until it gets caught on the next tangle doesn't really do you any good. What you're actually doing there is creating a super knot that takes way longer to deal with and stresses you and your hair out. So the strategy here is to deal with one knot at a time, and the only way to do that is to work your way up from the bottom. Everything will be so much smoother and easier than getting stuck at the top with a big old super tangle hurricane thing. And make sure that you have a wet brush or something really close to it. Moving on, 30-second hydration. Sometimes you'll have day 2 or 3 hair and it starts looking all dry and frizzy and you're like, oh man, I'm gonna have to wash my hair to fix this.
That is incorrect.
100% false. Way back when I hired Francesca, I did her hair, but a few days after that, it was looking like this dry and frizzy that we've been talking about. And Francesca said, oh man, I'm gonna have to wash my hair to fix this. But no, dry and frizzy hair does not mean you need to wash your hair. It just means that it needs to be touched up with a little bit of oil to bring it back to life. And lucky for you, it takes less than 29 seconds, so I'm gonna tell you right now, you're just gonna take a little bit of oil, starting from the ends, and go wherever the hair is dry or frizzy. You don't need to go crazy with the oil, just use enough and keep applying a little bit more until it gets rid of that dry and frizzy look. Really, you wanna be looking at your hair every morning, even for small signs of this, and if you see any, use some oil to touch it up. Really cool, really easy. Moving on, a perfectly straight part. All right, so when I first started doing hair, parting was my biggest shortcoming. I struggled with parts for a really long time and never really realized why. Let it out. More weight. Oh yeah. One of the main ways I fixed it was realizing that the angle that you look at your hair while you're parting it really matters. I used to put my head like right above the client and look down. It's the absolute worst thing you can do. Don't do that. And don't look straight at the front of your head either. It's the exact same thing. You wanna be somewhere in the middle of those two things because you need to be able to see where the part is gonna start and where it's going to end. Trust me when I tell you it's really hard to draw a straight line if you can't see where it's gonna end. But before you actually part your hair, here's a cool trick to make it way easier.
A 30-second trick?
Less than 30 seconds, actually. Before you part your hair, it's kind of all over the place. I know you detangle it, but still it's crisscrossed on top of itself where you're gonna part. And if you run in to one of those crisscrosses, when you're parting, it's gonna deflect your angle and make it look weird. And I don't want you walking around with a zigzaggy part. So what you're gonna do is use a small tooth comb like this. The small teeth are important to get it all going in the same direction. You need to put your hair and comb it back, so it's all nice and straight. That way, when you come in to do your part, there's no resistance and it goes through just like butter, nice and easy. Try it out, I think you'll like it. Moving on. Ion settings. All right, so if your blow dryer doesn't have an ion setting, it's time for a new blow dryer. I was talking with a friend who's actually a guy, and he was like, the blow dryer you use doesn't really matter, right? Like, it just dries your hair, right?
No, that is not right. And I didn't think you had guy friends.
Wrong, that's absolutely wrong. There's a huge difference in blow dryers, and if you don't have an ion button, your texture is gonna be way worse than it should be. The ion button is awesome. It's almost like Rain-X on your windshield that makes the water bead up into these small, tiny pieces. The ion charge splits the big droplets into tiny droplets, which spread out over your hair much more evenly. And by being spread more evenly, it evaporates the water much more quickly, which means your hair can dry faster. It's really awesome. But on top of that, the negative ions it creates also help smooth the cuticle of your hair. That's why a ton of clients in my salon who don't blow dry their hair very often are always like, wow, that really brings out the color of my hair. It also gives your hair a much smoother, softer feel because you don't have all that scratchiness going on at the outside layer of your hair from the scraggy cuticle. The reason for that is the cuticle on the outside is like glass. When it's nice and smooth, your color can shine out vibrant and it looks amazing. But when it's scraggly, it can't shine very well because it gets blocked by the bleh, like you see here. And you can actually feel that smoothness when you touch your hair. It feels softer and better and glossier because you don't have that scratchy, uneven cuticle. It's a huge difference. I swear to you, I will always keep your budget in mind, but if you regularly blow dry your hair, this is an investment that is 1000% worth it. The time you'll save and the improvement in the look and feel of your hair is a huge deal, so go get a good blow dryer like the Harry Josh Pro Tools. This is the best on the market. And whatever you do, avoid the Dyson. It's the worst ever, but you'll never know it unless you've actually tried something like this Harry Josh for half the price. Moving on. Humidity hack.
Humidity hack?
All right, so we all know that water is the enemy of hair. Humidity, sweat, anything like that will make your hair look way, way worse and ruin your style. But what most people don't know is that the worst humidity you will ever see in your life
is Florida rain.
Isn't even outside. It's inside your house, in the shower, on days when you aren't washing your hair. And I don't care what the temperature is, even a cold shower is recreating this rainforest-like environment inside your shower. And even worse, water is bouncing off your shoulders up into your hair.
Up in her, up in her.
And that constant kickback of water is even worse than the humidity in your shower. If you've never thought about this before, it's not obvious that all that water is messing your style up, and it gets gross and you have to wash it sooner. And if you're hoping that there's a 30-second hack for this, you are in the right place.
I would hope so, because I think that's what this video is called.
It is. All you're gonna do is get a shower cap like this. It doesn't have to be expensive or anything. You can get a cheap one on Amazon, or you can get a really nice one like this. You just need to make sure that it has a terry cloth lining on the inside, because some water and steam is gonna get up inside here, and the terry cloth is going to absorb it instead of your hair absorbing it, which is a good thing. If you're really into milking your style for as long as you can, like my salon co-founder Leslie,
The fanciest.
and you want to protect it, you can spend a whole $3 on a makeup headband that looks like this and makes a big difference. You're gonna put this on first to cover your hairline, and then the shower cap will go on top of that. And this way, when you wash your face, you'll make sure that you aren't getting any water or soap up onto your hairline. If you like the way dry shampoo extends your style, this is the same thing. Try it out. I think you'll like it. Moving on. Gym hair hack. All right, we know water and humidity are the enemy of your hair, and you probably notice sweating at the gym is no exception. If you get absolutely drenched, like if you're running marathons or something at noon when the sun's at the highest point, you're not gonna look like you just went to the salon. Can't help you with that. But if you're going to the gym indoors where it's like a normal workout and there's air conditioning, here's an awesome hack that Leslie loves. Leslie usually wears her hair down with a part off to the side. But when she goes to the gym, she pulls her hair all the way back into a ponytail, which gets rid of her part. Because if you leave it open and exposed, the sweat tends to concentrate right around that part, which messes up all the hair that's there, which is really bad because that's what people are looking at the most. By leaving her hair back, she prevents that from happening, and as soon as her hair is dried off, she'll just redo her part, put it right to the sides, and it looks way better than if she left it parted the whole time. And P.S. dry shampoo doesn't work against sweat. Dry shampoo is meant to be used against oil, and sweat is just water and salt. So if you're spraying a bunch of dry shampoo in there, hoping that it's gonna get rid of the sweat, it's not. If it's only sweat, don't use dry shampoo. It's a waste. Easy sectioning hack. Sectioning your hair when you style it will make it look 100 times better if you do it right. But a lot of people aren't sure how to section, so let me show you how to do this in 30 seconds. You're gonna get you some alligator clips like this. They have these little hinges, which means they can hold a lot more hair. Do not use flat clips like this or this. Those are bad for sectioning. You're gonna split your head in front and in the back, starting right behind your ears, just like this. In the front, you're gonna work your way up from the bottom, and to do that, you need a clip like this. In the front sections, no matter what you're doing, ironing, flat ironing, blow drying your hair, blow dry brushing, doesn't matter. You're gonna start from the bottom and slowly work your way up. But in the back, it's much harder to do sections because you're completely blind. It's tough to get them straight or where you want them to be, or you're basically just guessing. It's time to stop guessing because there's this weird trick that our body does where it automatically knows where our fingers are, even if we can't see them. It's pretty cool. So in one hand, you have your sectioning tool, which can just be another one of those clips, and you're gonna put the other finger on the other side of your head where you want it to come out. And as you go across with your sectioning tool, it's going to automatically be attracted towards that finger that's waiting for it on the other side. It's just gonna find it. It's really weird, but it works. So now you don't need to be scared about sectioning. It's actually really easy now that you know the secret. All right, thank you so much for hanging out today. If you're still trying to figure out what products are best for your hair, check out my other videos or look at my recommended product list. It has a hair type quiz to help you find the best products specifically for your hair type. Have a good one, guys. Take it easy.